Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do an anime review actually. This is of Shangri-la, which is a 24 episode series. I have the box set. I bought this used fairly recently. I had never seen this before, but I like to support my local used media store, and they had this listed, so I looked up the trailer for it and was like, huh, this looks like something right up my alley that I would really enjoy. And so I bought it. It was, a bit more expensive than I would have paid normally, but it is the full 24 episode series. So, and I got to support the store, so that's fine. This is a kind of apocalyptic story. Our main character is Kuniko. She is a teenager. She's probably like 17, maybe 16, 17. And she lives in Duomo, which is formerly kind of Tokyo, but it's been taken over by by greenery that is quite invasive. And so the people living down on the surface of Earth are in poverty, at least in Japan. I don't know about other countries, but the folks on the surface are living in poverty. Duomo specifically has this resistance called Metal Age, and they are, a band of the rest of society calls them terrorists, but they're the resistance to the government because the government is not treating them correctly. So there's, I think it's Atlas is the upper kind of society. They're off the ground. Basically, Atlas is this giant kind of spaceship looking thing that's built off of the ground. And so the people living in Atlas are kind of middle class to upper class people, and they all are living comfortably. That's where the military is, that's where the government is, and the plan, the government has been saying for many, many years that the plan is to move all the people from the surface up to Atlas, but they're under construction right now. They're building the houses for those citizens, and it's just taking a little while, so be patient. But this patience is running out for the people on the surface because they're dying. They have no health care, they have no food, they have no water, they have really nothing. If they want to leave their little town, they need to put on hazmat suits, gas masks, because the levels of toxicity from the plants and stuff is so high that they can't survive out in the forested area, which is encroaching now on their city. So Kuniko is somebody who doesn't want to be a part of Metal Age. She doesn't want to she's associated with them, but she doesn't really want to be, but she also can't sit still and watch her loved ones die unnecessarily. So she gets a glimpse of Atlas and sees what the people up there are living like, and she's so angry and doesn't understand why. There's so much space up there. Why is the government not allowing them to move up there? And especially when that was the whole point, is that Atlas would be, a place where everybody would go and nobody would have to live on the surface anymore. But, she's torn between loving her home. Duomo is her home and she loves it and she cares about it, but also seeing the struggle, the poverty, the pain and suffering that all of her neighbors and loved ones are going through, and trying to figure out, what is the government doing? Why won't they let us move up there? And so she kind of gets caught up in this war almost between, the people on the ground and the people of Atlas, the military and the government up there in particular. There's a lot of sides to this story. We have, there's this girl here, this young girl who is clearly very important, but she's very ill. She can't go out in the sunlight. And she also has this power that allows her to just kill people instantly. And, there's another girl too, who this is kind of our main villain for the most part. She's a part of the government of Atlas. It's got reversible art in both discs as well, which is quite nice. there's a different picture of her, and then on the inside, here's the other girl. So she's a young girl as well who seems to be pulling some strings. She's like this financial overlord of messing with like their stock market, basically. The world's kind of stock market, but yeah, there's a lot of different parties at play here, and it all kind of comes to a head. It's the type of story where you're watching maybe 6 or 7 different viewpoints, and obviously Kuniko is the main character, but we have many different characters that we're following throughout this story, and as the story progresses, they kind of intertwine together to form, you know, the whole story. And so you're piecing together these different storylines and trying to figure out how they're all interconnected. And this is a complete story, so if you're looking for something that, you know, actually ends, then this is a good one for you. In the 24 episodes, it's not something that they just like stopped the story halfway and went, well, sucks to be you. The 24 episodes do encompass the whole story, and it is a bit confusing at times, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the stuff about like the carbon tax kind of situation, I don't really understand. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention or it just didn't explain it in a way that was understandable to me. I don't know. But the animation was pretty stunning, especially down on the ground, like Duomo in particular, and the different, like, they would go to like Harajuku, Akihabara, which is like a cool kind of dystopian version of Akihabara. Was pretty entertaining to see, and you know, seeing these things, these very distinctive places in Tokyo that we know, but they're different because it's a different version of Tokyo. Was pretty cool. There's a lot of violence and a lot of kind of yeah, there's a lot of violence in this. There's a lot of uncomfortable themes as well, particularly this lady, and her treatment of her servants and whatnot is pretty uncomfortable. The thing that I found the thing that took away from the story for me the most, and this won't bother a lot of people, but for me it did, is there is a couple of trans characters. There's trans women in this story, and the language chosen to represent these trans people is not ideal. And it was interesting because, you know, I saw the trans character in the trailer and I was like, oh, this person actually seems to be a legitimate member of the cast and not just like a butt of a joke. And, you know, she is a legitimate member of the cast, but she is also the butt of the joke a lot of the time. And I don't really understand how, like, I don't understand the intentions behind those characters because, you know, part of the time, like, this person is a badass. I think her name is Momoko. She's a badass, but her character is so overly sexual in terms of everything that comes out of her mouth is an innuendo about male genitalia, or just men and sexuality in general. And you're like, okay, fine, that's the type of character you've made this person, whatever. But then also the language used to refer to her is a slur. And there's just points where people are respecting her and obviously they see her as a woman, but then in the next scene all of a sudden it's like horrible transphobic language and stuff, and you're like, okay, I don't understand like why this is happening. Like, do we respect this character or do we not respect this character? And I just didn't understand the intentions behind it. And it was very distracting to me. And like I said, probably won't bother a lot of people. Maybe people will find it funny, maybe they'll find it uncomfortable for different reasons than I do. But my annoyance came from the use of slurs, and the just kind of like overly sexual, like it's used as a gag. it's the traditional kind of gag of oh, it's a man in a dress and all the men are uncomfortable because this man in a dress is flirting with them and being overly sexual and gross, when it's like she's very clearly a woman. She talks about surgery that she's had. She talks about how she is a woman, and so the continuous like man in a dress joke is not funny to me. Um, and yeah, I just think that I don't remember when this came out, if it was like 2012 or 2015 or something. It's not like brand new or anything. I just think that if it was brand new, um, I think different choices would have been made about the language. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that was really my biggest gripe with this was the treatment of the very obviously trans characters, and I just didn't understand the intentions behind how those characters were written, because like I said, sometimes it was really respectful and like you're like, yes, this is like good and comfortable, and then all of a sudden it would just be horrible and you're like, okay, now we're treating this person like crap and I don't understand. And I don't even just mean the characters treating the person like crap. I mean the writing. Whoever wrote these characters, it was like they respected them in one scene, and then all of a sudden they're like, now we've respected this person too much, now we need to tear them down. And I just don't understand the writer's intention behind that character. And so, yeah, that was a distracting factor for me personally. And I know that some people won't agree with me or they just don't care, and that's fine. That's your opinion, but this is my opinion about this series. And otherwise, I did actually really enjoy this. I think it was full of action. It was full of like political kind of intrigue. The colors were really vibrant, and the story was captivating. And like I said, it concluded. So, yeah. My two issues would be a little bit of confusion around this carbon tax thing. I just don't think it was explained really well. And the other complaint would be the treatment of the trans characters. But honestly, other than that, I really, really enjoyed this and do recommend it if you happen to find it. I know that it's sold like in two parts. I don't know how easy it is to get this full box set edition, but like I said, I found it used, and if you happen to find it used and any of this sounded interesting to you, this is a nice little set. It doesn't come, at least I don't know if it did new, but it doesn't come with any extras or anything in terms of, it's literally just a kind of a box and the 4 discs, but it, like I said, it does have the reversible art for both of these disc art things. So yeah, I mean, Shangri-La, I don't think I would have bought it if I had seen it previously, but now that I own it, I will probably watch it again years down the line, but it's not something I'll rush back to anytime soon. But it wasn't bad enough that I want to sell it or get rid of it at any point in the near future. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you've seen this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Yeah, if you have any other like apocalyptic or dystopian or utopian society sort of anime that you want to recommend, I'd love to hear it. I do enjoy those types of stories. But yeah, thanks for watching.